$10 from Nawan, who says simply, Shantae, best game. And Anonymous also sends $10 saying, never seen this game before, but it's adorable. Glad to see it being speedrun.
I'm facing forward again.
Don't worry about it.
Well, that's concerning.
There we go.
All right, so we're live? All right. Hey, I'm MattyIce. I'm going to be running Magrunner Dark Pulse, the game that came out in about mid to late 2014. It's a puzzle platformer based on magnetism. Behind me on the couch, we've got
Squallgrew Leonhardt.
Church and Sarge.
Trouble.
And fortunately, they know enough about the game that I'm not going to have to talk too much while I do this, and they're going to let me focus on playing the game. We're ready to go? All right. So we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so this is Meme Runner Dank Pulse, run by the amazing MattyIce3131.
Affectionately known by the community as Portal 3.
But really, with Magrunner, the big thing for it is what happened to start off is there was a cutscene. Forget the story. We're going to skip through all of that, just like we skipped through the dialogue. Main thing to know about this is just like real magnets, opposites repel and same attract. So for puzzle 1 here, he's going to attract the 2 boxes together for the shelf, carry them over to that spot that they'll lock right into the ground, and the boxes then launch up, break the orb to open up the door to move on to the next.
Guys,
chamber.
I didn't screw up intro cube.
Congrats.
I think that was a PB.
No.
No. Better than my time, though.
Sometimes you might see me bonk into doors. I try to time it so that I jump through the doors it's opening, but I'm not really perfect at it.
So this upcoming level is going to be our introduction to launchers. All launchers are created equal, but some are more equal than others.
Look at this tech.
The main thing to know is, like, for this level, this launcher just sends him up that way. You're going to have other launchers that are going to be sending him flying halfway across the level. They're really not going to be operating the exact same way for it. So in that case, it's just going to be a quick across that small room, but there's going to be others where he's just going to be flying halfway across the level, and we're just going to break levels that way.
Yeah, these first 3 or 4 levels are really just introductory to like mechanics of the game. A lot of times you might see me zoom in for like a few frames or so. The game has this really cheap auto-aim mechanic where if you zoom in on something, it just kind of aims right at the center of it. So I use that to my advantage to make me be okay at speedrunning it, even though I'm really bad at aiming at stuff.
So really, that level is just introducing platforms similar to like any of the Portal games. There's going to be predefined pathways you travel along. Coming up on this next level, though, this is where we really start to break the game for it and going against how it was intended, because really those first 3 levels, we have to solve them as intended, just like variants on it. This is when we start exploiting some of the physics and issues of the game. Normally, how it's supposed to go is there's a ledge up there we have to get up to. You're supposed to use both boxes. However, we're going to use the momentum from the 1 cube being launched up to then jump off it and get up onto the ledge without having to get the other cube. From there, you still have to stack all 3 on top of one another, because you have to send the top cube launching up to break through the glass, get to the orb, to send us on to the next room from there.
That's going to be the trick that you see us using pretty much the most in this run.
Yeah, it's actually possible to break the glass with 2 boxes, but you can't hit the orb with it. So I haven't really been able to do anything more with that level.
Gamaji, are they off the con?
So this one here, if it's done optimally, so there'll be a cutscene where the lights go out in the level. If it's done fast enough, we can actually get inside the level before the lights go out. It's a little difficult to do that, but we can usually get to the other side before the lights go out.
This is going to be another example where we are using the momentum of
Yeah, I
a
didn't
cube
miss it.
plus running and jump.
We got it.
I was really nervous about missing that, because if you miss it, it wastes about 35 seconds.
Yeah, because originally you're supposed to just launch over with the box, put it into the little
The slot.
crevice there, so it would track the horizontal platform, and you have to go across the other side. It's a big pain, so we just jump across.
Yeah, if you miss that in like a real speedrun attempt, it's a reset.
More
So this
platforms.
level here,
This would be a bad time
we
for
hit the
the
two
power
platforms on
development.
the right side first because most of the level we're spending waiting on those two platforms to reach them where we need, so we want to hit them as fast as possible.
And you'll see me change the polarity of these platforms just to help push them along their paths a little bit faster.
Now, really, the level is supposed to be completed that way up to this point. You're supposed to take the box over to the other side of the room and use a launcher,
Oh, that was close.
but
Sorry.
we can just use the magnetism from the platform to push the box over enough and then just jump off and finish from there.
So this level has one of the newer strats that I've found.
On being the first one to complete that module. Maybe you're better than I thought. Or maybe you're just lucky.
Or maybe you're a freak.
Excuse me?
Basically, what you need to do is you need to get the two boxes here to complete the level. I'm going to use this platform to drag down the first one, but I'm actually just going to drop this here, and it turns out you are able to grab this by using the first box instead of having to go all the way up that tower from the bottom. So that saves like 25 to 30 seconds on just this level.
This level is the first example of glass that you can shoot through. Some of this we think is intentional, but there's definitely points in the run where there's glass that you can shoot magnetism through that is not intended at all. And we use that to break the run a few times.
And you see me jumping around these little benches. This is kind of like a timing mechanism I've used so that I can get back to the door right as it opens.
So this level here is pretty much all about optimizing the colors so that the platforms are in the optimal position. When you go to make the skip at the end, it's going to be a large jump that uses the magnetism of the platforms to do an unintentional jump with the cube.
This is going to be kind of the first example of this game's version of strafe jumping. Often in games, you're going to find that you can use A and D to move side to side in the air. In this game, you can really move any direction. We have a lot of control. So we use the momentum from the box, jump up, we back up a little bit and to get around the bottom of the platform and land back on top.
So for this one, this is introductory fusion. What you're supposed to do is there's these small cubes that you're supposed to collect all four, put together in that crevice on the left, and they form one big cube.
Using that thing.
Normally, big cubes you can stand on, launch off of, and there's a launcher all set up for it. We didn't like it because you had to do the level intentionally, and there were a number of strats we went through from a really dumb one that was very inconsistent to what got optimized down from initial concept for myself, and then Shining Face was able to find how to do it with two cubes.
That was really good, by the way.
We,
That was really
with the right setup, just launched right over like that, and we were able to complete the level. Now, the concept of being able to use small boxes that way helped break two other levels.
One of which is this one. And this concept is really new. Like, I've been speedrunning this game for about a year and a half, and we only found this about 2 or 3 months ago. That's mostly because I was the only one running it for a long time.
The small cube physics in this game are very wonky. It's hard to control, so it's not nearly as easy as making box jumps with full-size boxes.
Yeah, and one other thing to note is, so you just saw me jump across that gap with the small box. You can't jump while you're holding a large one, but fortunately you can jump while you hold the small one, so you don't have to walk all the way around this path with it.
Now, one of the main things really with this level that's kind of odd to the other two is to actually be able to make this small cube box, you actually have to jump, then magnetize the box to be able to get up.
Got it?
But once you do that, you can just get straight to the exit.
Yeah, and we're able to skip, like, there's a lot of dialogue that goes on in that room, and, like, you just kind of finish the level before any of it happens.
I mean, before we found that skip, we were looking at about minute 20, kind of minute and a half for that level, and we've cut it down to really about 30, 40 seconds now.
This is one of the unfortunate unskippable cutscenes in the game.
Somebody's dead here. And now the
Yeah,
whole
fortunately
place
this one
is
isn't too long.
apart.
Yeah, there will be a few longer ones coming up later on in the run.
We'll figure this out.
And we're going to start moving into some of the more difficult levels. Even though there's been some tricks and skips in the beginning here, it's pretty elementary as far as the mechanics and the interactions go. And you'll see a major change in scenery coming up as well.
So this level here is one of the first levels where we use the. So if you've noticed earlier in the run, we've been using a lot of
That was
snap to
silly. I shouldn't
point.
have done that.
So the cubes will snap to point where they're supposed to go. And this level, we actually abuse a mechanic where you can raise it higher than the snap mechanic.
Okay, that should work.
And then you're able to place the cube where it shouldn't be, and you're able to do jumps based off of that. So we can skip most of the level just by dropping it above where it should snap and then jumping up to the platform.
Of course, without the snap, it does become a little bit more precise. If it's snapped, you know it's always going to be in the right place. Otherwise, it's a little bit of guesswork sometimes.
Okay, so this is my least favorite level in the game, and I really hope I get this on the first try.
I'm trying.
You'll see right there, he just went for a checkpoint. This is
Awesome.
Thank God.
The biggest issue with that level is the wall right above the platform we're trying to land on. The hitboxes are absolute garbage. So what you would think is going to be a jump that's going to make it, you'll just smack your head and fall immediately down, and you have to do it all over again. Fortunately, that's followed up with this level right here, which is just a quick little exercise of moving two platforms together and doing a box jump up.
Yeah, that's the shortest level in the game. The entire split, including the loading screens, is about 20 seconds.
So, Squall, I forgot. Can you jump with large boxes?
No.
Yeah, I told you guys, you can't jump with them. You can't jump while you're holding one. You know, but you can just do this and, like, jump and pick it up at the same time. Oops. I shot that twice.
So like Matty was just talking about, we're able to actually bring cubes where we're not supposed to have them by being able to jump and grab them at the same time.
The momentum from your jump is going to continue to carry you, but you can grab it. There's a frame window you can grab it in to carry it with you and not lose your momentum.
Yeah, basically what happens is there's a range in which you can interact with objects. And as long as you're still within that range, you can pick up the cube while you're jumping.
So really at this point, we're just going through a hallway to conclude Act 1 for it.
Yeah, you can read a donation or two, because there's going to be like a 25, 30-second cutscene after I get to the end of this hallway anyway.
Awesome. We've had some large ones coming in. Let's start with Slurpee. Sends in $250 and says, "Don't forget to tune in to the amazing MattyIce3131's Meme Runner Dank Pulse on Friday, July 8th at 4:30 a.m. Hashtag BGC, hashtag Free Betsy." Also,
Thanks, Slurpee.
GGameFreak22 sends in $50 and says, "Hey there, Matty, GGameFreak22 here. Here's the $50 I promised to bribe the SGDQ with to make them let you run this game."
I told you not to do that.
He says, "Anyway, good luck on the run and don't choke too much."
Game Freak's one of the guys that always hangs out in my chat. He's pretty cool. He likes to troll me whenever I play something that's not Magrunner, but, you know, that's Twitch for you.
So coming into this one, it's Captive, first level of Act 2. For the longest time, we did this the intended way, just fast. But Shiny Face, who picked up this game a few months ago, he hated this level just as much as us and thought that there would be a way to skip around the glass you have to break. And that's when he found that jump we could do with the box. From there, it is possible to work yourself up and grab the box off of that platform, but it can be a bit inconsistent.
House, please.
So I was able to actually find that if you magnetize that box, you can do a box jump with a grab and then quickly magnetize it to attract them together, and then you're able to just bring them right back down from there.
Fun fact, so that rubble falls out from under you. If you actually hit it on the way down, you bounce up and lose time, so you try to actually dodge it on the way down. Coming up here is a fun, very annoying auto-scroller, so we're going to have some time for donations in a few minutes, but I wanted to take this time to go over some of the history of this speedrun. So I pre-ordered this game because I had a friend who told me about it, and I thought it looked really cool. As soon as I played it, it was a bit after I started speedrunning, and it was one of those kind of games that you see it right away, and you're like, this seems like a really fun game to speedrun. I kind of got away from speedrunning for a little bit after SGDQ 14. After I ran Meat Boy 106% and the Blindfolded Forest. But I saw people who have been around for a while might remember Ethalon, who used to run a lot of first-person puzzle games like Cube and Quantum Conundrum. I saw him, I had followed him after I met him at AGDQ 2014, and he had been speedrunning this game. And I saw that he had the time down to around an hour, which was a lot less than I had expected it to be. So, you know, he's kind of stopped playing a lot of games online, at least on Twitch from what I've seen. But I picked up the speedrun, and I spent a lot of time improving some of the stuff that he did. And then for the longest time, I was pretty much the only person running the game. But in the last few weeks, I've managed to convince a few of my board game crew people to pick up the game, and they've been a really big help in breaking this game. And they've cut my time down by about 5 to 6 minutes ever since a few months ago when they started picking up the game. So right up here, I think I just screwed it up, but I forgot to shoot that because I was talking. So there's a little cutscene there, but you can click through it, so it's not really a big deal. Anytime you look at the statue, it triggers the cutscene. But if you look from around there, you can shoot this platform, and it prevents you from getting the cutscene. I mostly forgot to shoot it because I was talking, and I hadn't been practicing talking while I was going through this area. So everyone can laugh at me for that in Twitch chat.
Fortunately, it's only really like a half-second loss if you do trigger it, so it's not one of those that's really going to like hurt you in the long run. It's not going to be a reset for it, but it is one of those things where losing time on the auto-scroll level is always a bit disheartening.
You just feel kind of silly for it.
Of course, in that case, he actually knew it was coming because he saw the statue quite a bit before the cutscene was about to trigger. So he was ready for it, and it cost barely anything.
Yeah, so I guess I expected there to be a little bit of time for donations here. You could probably do 1 or 2 because I still have to walk through a bit of a corridor after.
All right, first off, Game & Watch with $50 saying, hello, 4th SGDQ, so it's time to donate again. You're doing an awesome job. It's always a pleasure to follow the show and see nice runners and commenters. We are also here to beat world records, right? So kill those damn animals once and for all. Big smack from France.
Yeah, on that note, basically no matter what happens in this run, it's not going to be a world record. It's possible it could be a PB and RTA, but because the load times vary so much between computers on this run, we actually go based on in-game time calculated by a load remover. And since we're not using the load remover on the timer, we're just going to have an RTA time at this point.
So this is the first and really only example of clipping in any way in this game. Most collision in this game is actually really solid. We've tried to clip through a lot of walls in this game, but unless something is moving, it's basically impossible. But with those mod cubes, it's actually fairly easy to get yourself in the air in between the wall that is moving and the stationary cube. And if you're in the air, it'll zip you right up to the top of the cube. We use that a lot.
Yeah, there's about, I don't know, like 5 to 8 instances of clips used in the run. I think the vast majority of them are what I would consider to be like unguided, like that one where you kind of have to just jump into the air and get it as it's coming at you. There are a few instances where you kind of just have it set up because you need to grab a cube at the same time, and the cube is actually, or the box like these ones right here, which I actually just grabbed in front of. There's a cutscene trigger in front of that room, which if you walk into the room, you trigger an unskippable cutscene, but you can actually just grab the box from outside. And right here, I use this dot as a reference point, which will help this platform to come up.
Yeah, because normally what you're supposed to do is create kind of a makeshift elevator for it, but we don't even bother with that.
So Matty here just got the fast strat for this level. The slower strat is if you don't grab the box on the way up, you actually have to grab that box and put it in the slot right on the wall there, and then wait for a platform to come all the way out. But since you grabbed the box, we can do the fast strat here.
Yeah, so we can just use the magnetism to glide across the gap.
Can anyone hear me? Anyone?
Oh, look, it's Cassandra.
Cassandra!
Dax, where are you?
So got to go into like a little bit of the story here. I mean, we're skipping through most of it, and we've kind of like just covered the basics of it. Is you were adopted by Gamaji, the like 6-armed
Yeah, he has 6 arms.
and you ended up going into mag running, and as the game's been pointing out and it's been kind of touched on the levels, there's mysterious circumstances of what happened to your parents for it, and that kind of starts evolving throughout the story to kind of like go into their background and the more sinister underlines of the whole project that you're a part of.
So the intentional method for this level is you're supposed to send the cube that we just used to cube jump up. It's actually an explosive cube, so it's supposed to destroy a fan above you, which allows you to complete the level. But you can just cube jump off of it and finish the level instead.
Yeah, actually, as a side note, there was one level in which I used an explosive cube to free a normal cube near the end of the first section of the game before I went into the water tunnel. Theoretically speaking, you could complete the level with that cube, except when you put it in the receptacle on the wall, it just explodes. So you're actually required to get the normal cube on that level. Otherwise, you would be able to save about 5 or 6 more seconds on that level.
It's probably be a good time for another donation.
All right, well, first I wanted to mention I've got a mission for everybody. We have like less than 40 minutes to meet the pause ahead any percent incentive for all secrets. So please, if you donate right now, look for that incentive. Put your money toward it. I need about $2,200 before that run begins to meet that. Remember, you can vote to save or kill the animals anytime, practically up until the end of the marathon, but we have less than 40 minutes to get that pause ahead one in. So please help out there if you can.
So this level of backstage, it's really a culmination of a lot of the different tricks we've done up to this point. We will do like a clip zip on the box for it, along with some box jumps. Really, the main thing to this is just to get that box so you can break that orb that we saw during that cutscene to open up the door at the top of the level. And from there, we're just put through then a forced walking section with dialogue. So we can go through probably 1 or 2 more donations at this time as well.
Yeah, so that was an example of what I would consider like a guided clip. The box is actually kind of the perfect width to get you in the right position to set up a clip. In this case, you just need to bring the box up with you because you need to do other stuff with it, but whoops. You could actually save like a half a second by jumping into the ceiling there because the trigger for the... You can jump over a little bit of the trigger for the slow walking, but if you want to go over a donation or two, we can do that right now.
Yeah, Fusion donated $20 to us saying, second time donation, enjoying these games I've never heard of before. Thank you, Fusion. And Holotai sent in $10 saying, had to donate during the game that got me big into speedrunning. Happy to finally see Magrunner at a GDQ. Woke up at 4 a.m. to watch this. Good luck, MattyIce.
Thanks, man.
All right, so coming into here for upgrade, this is actually where we're going to get one of the
This is the best part of the game.
Really the tool that's going to allow us to really just break this game wide open. So up to this point, we've had to rely on anything we can actually magnetize itself for it. We're now going to actually be able to have a mobile point that for the most part can go on almost all the surfaces available in the game. So it's going to be our lovable friend Newton Z for it that we're able to...
It's a dog.
Hence the nickname we've kind of given it. The main thing to Newton is you can walk through him itself, but you can actually put objects on top of him. So we're actually about to exploit that right here.
Yeah, this is actually the only instance where we put an object on top of Newton. That's... Dang it.
And for good reason, he moves frequently.
I think
Yeah.
he might be a little
Hard
too
to
close to
balance.
the wall.
Newton can be a bit of a troll here. It's like
Okay.
some of us have had really bad luck just in this level where there's either some sort of global timer or something for Newton where you put him down and he'll just start going through his animations, and while he's a tangible object, his hitbox does change as well. So if he starts spinning around or anything like that, that can cause that box to fall right off. But fortunately, wasn't too trolly there. So you just move along the platforms to really close out this level.
Yeah, for the record, I just jump across to that platform because it's being pulled by the magnetized point on the wall, so it comes across a little smoother and it gets there faster.
This is probably good for 1 or 2 donations.
Yeah.
Virgo Red Wolf donated $50 and says, since I missed out on donating toward Doom, I'll just have to settle for putting it toward my second favorite game and some awesome glitches.
Doom is great, by the way.
Yeah.
If you guys missed the Doom run, Dime did a really good job. You should check out the VOD.
And Brittany M gave us $5 saying there's not much I can do this year. So thank you guys again, heart. Keep up the good work and kick some major butt. Also, runner's choice.
Put it toward the pause ahead.
You got it.
Hopefully that can help it get met.
Don't forget to press the button.
Yeah, I know, right?
So there have been some runs where all of us have pretty much gone tracking along this, because when you press that button, it opens the door and it is on a timer. So if you don't make it far enough along the track, it closes on you. You have to go all the way back. So nothing will kill a run more and be just absolutely like make you feel stupid than when you don't hit the button to open the door. From there, though, we just, again, exploit Newton to stack up 2 boxes and help use his magnetic force to push the box up, and we just jump right over. Because normally you're supposed to just do a 2-box stack, move up, and then use Newton to drag the boxes up with you.
Newton really breaks this game hard.
My favorite character in the Portal series is the turret.
Well,
Do they have that?
lucky for you, we do actually have turrets.
There's a
in
turret
Portal
over there,
3.
but I'm going to kill it. It's in my way.
Now, you may have noticed when Matty was flying over it, he could have actually landed by the door itself. And it's not that the turret would shoot and kill him, but while that turret exists there, it is an absolute kill zone in that area. We've tried working around it, but so far we haven't been able to find anything to actually get past that kill zone. So we actually do have to take out that turret right now. But it still turns the level where you're supposed to be going underneath it and all around to actually get to that explosive itself. Just really cut down time.
Yeah, there's theoretically a faster strat on that level where you can do a box grab while you're flying across, but it's really inconsistent, and if you don't get the box jump, you either die or you probably fall in front of the turret and die anyway.
Do you guys remember which side we exit the elevator on this level?
So actually, it's funny. So anytime you have a conversation with Cassandra, you exit the platform on the extending bridge, but conversations are defined by more than 4 lines of dialogue. So we actually exit on the front side.
Also, I have it all memorized, so these guys are bad.
So you may have heard us joking around earlier in the run. We were talking about how
That's not right.
Opposites in this game actually repel instead of attracting. This is a very good example as to why. We're currently stacking a bunch of magnetic fields in order to launch this cube a lot farther, and mechanics like that wouldn't be possible in this game if opposites repelled. So instead, like attracts.
But someone is using the net to take everything down.
And again, just right at the end there, just again using Newton to manipulate, because there's actually a bunch of launchers in that room, and you're supposed to trigger them all to the same and put them in the center of it, and then the box launches straight up.
Is that how you're supposed to do that level? I've never done it that way. I only ever did it the fast way.
If anybody can figure out how Gamachi saves us here, I would love to know.
Yeah.
Kamaji's got us, man. Don't worry about it. He's got our back.
I also like how the glass just vanishes into thin air.
Was too close.
It's the same magic glass that you can actually shoot magnetism through.
Yeah, but I can't walk through that glass.
Look, don't worry about it.
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on, man. This game's really broken.
All right, so walking into this room just right off the bat is a casual play is really intimidating because it's a wide open level, but there's not much in the way of platforms. Originally, this is one of those levels that you're intended to start working up platforms, get along the top, climb all around, and you're eventually supposed to make your way all the way to the other end. But fortunately, it's actually possible to skip all that nonsense. We're actually just going to, using a box along with our good old buddy Newton, fly all the way to the last platform where we're able to launch immediately to the exit from there.
Yeah, so I'm just going to hold the platform here using Newton, and he's actually just going to help, again, with like the path manipulation of the box, and I'm just going to land on the platform over here. That was actually pretty close to me missing it, but whatever.
Now it is
pretty lenient.
With that jump, it is possible if you fall short and along the rocks, it is possible to jump up from there. But it is going to really be a time loss at that time. It's pretty consistent once you get the timing down for that one to be able to land on the platform safely.
And now, so this, I don't know if we mentioned, but this game has a lot of Lovecraftian elements. There's a slight undertone of Cthulhu, and there's some kind of creepy dialogues and whatever, but nothing like really, really out there.
All hail the great general administrator of LifeNet.
Dive you in oblivion.
I mean, I'm all about that forever.
Yeah, I don't want to
happiness
hear
and
anymore, so I'm going to
atmosphere.
get out of the level now. So this level is actually this is my favorite level in the game. I spent a lot of time trying to do basically just one skip on this level that skips the entire other half of this room on the side of the pit, and it's a really cool setup that involves kind of curving the box around the corner. Because I'm going to basically use an explosive box to finish this level. So I'm going to put Newton right on this circular part here. And that box kind of follows like a curving path as it moves into Newton's field. And it basically just goes right around the corner. If it hits the wall, it explodes and you die.
I made it to the control room.
But I don't know. I just really like that level.
You
It's
have to see this. He's painted the
even though it's
walls
really
with
short.
Weird symbols and the terminals are
So coming up from
shaped
here,
like
it's going to be,
I don't know
I
what
guess,
this
it's kind of the level that's really disappointing if you screw it up on a run, because you just lose all this time because you're immediately kicked back to the beginning and you are forced to sit through a cutscene that shows how the puzzles essentially what needs to be solved, and we don't even bother with any of that.
Yeah, this is a giant level, and basically the idea is you need to hit 3 orbs with a bunch of boxes, and it's going to open up access to a platform that just lowers you to the bottom level where the exit is. But it turns out there's a way to use the geometry of the level to jump around like all the walls and just get straight to the end.
This is the aforementioned magic class.
So in this situation, this section's open to kind of give you the general idea of where the exit is. You can even see it in a mirror.
Okay, got it, cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, that costs you about 40 seconds if you miss it, because you have to watch that entire cutscene again.
Yeah. When I first saw that jump, I was really inconsistent at it, but eventually it's like I was able to find a reference point on that wall where there's a crack that runs right down the middle. So if you line up your crosshair right on that crack, it's a pretty simple jump from there.
Yeah, as long as you get around the wall and don't move into it too early, you're pretty much guaranteed to make it.
So this elevator was actually it was our best idea for a major game skip for a long time. We discovered that you can walk off the edge of that and just kind of walk anywhere in that elevator room, and we found a bunch of things that looked a lot like load zones within it. But it turns out we discovered actually conclusively a couple days ago, but that they are actually just decorative, and even though those rooms exist, there's no load zones within them.
Yeah, because on one of the earlier elevators, there's actually found a way to go out of bounds, and then Zimbabwe was actually messing around with the game, was able to get no clip turned on, and we were able to fly into the loading zones themselves, but there's actually no triggers active in them.
Oh my god,
in of itself.
why did I do that?
So unfortunately, our hope was that it was all one giant level that was just being reused, and we could actually sequence break farther into Act 2 from there. But at least right now, it's pretty much we have to play it as is.
So I did this level really poorly. It's actually possible to be up in this room before the dialogue ends, but I mean I just fell to the floor anyway, so that was never going to happen. I tried to rush it because I was being slow. Also, I need to change this. Oh yeah, there's also fizzlers. If you try to take objects out of the level, they just fizzle like in Portal.
I mean, this is Portal 3, right?
It's the true sequel.
Yeah, I know, but
I mean, it's
I'm
got
just
elevators.
Hey, Gamaji,
yeah, but I can look out these elevators. It's more aesthetically pleasing.
on the bottom of the ocean, the ones that lure the little fish in with lights.
Yeah.
We have a $50.84 donation from Bavanovic, who says, "You guys are doing great work, especially on the overnight shift. It's perfect timing in the UK, however, to watch while I work from home today." And $10 from Dax, who says, "I love magnetism and my name is Dax. Maybe I should buy this game."
You should absolutely buy this game.
This game's really fun.
So this room is kind of a gimmicky room. All the lights go out, and it's supposed to be complete darkness, and you're supposed to use Newton because he gives off a little bit of light. You're supposed to use him to find where the floor actually is.
Which I actually will be doing because this screen is much darker than the one that I have at home for some reason.
If you ever watch Matty do runs on his stream, though, he won't. He just kind of walks around it.
Yeah, it's really bright on my computer for whatever reason. I don't think I turned the gamma up, but I keep saying that I did.
If you actually, the monitor we're watching on, we can pretty clearly see the floor. A lot of the, it depends a lot on the brightness of your monitor. But if your monitor is bright enough, you can easily see the ground in front of you, and it becomes a trivial level.
Okay, there it is. So I need to grab this box, but I need to get Newton in the right spot. That's much more trivial when I can see the floor because I don't have to like find the spot on the floor to stand on, and I can also see the wall as well. I didn't really want to mess around with the settings because I realized when I turn up the gamma, the mag glove gets really reflective and it looks awful. So I figured I would just use Newton for today.
So coming into this section, there actually is a turret that you're intended to destroy. During like a blind race me and Church did like way back, it was actually found that it's possible to, and Matty had already had the solution.
I knew this already.
Yeah, using that box to just fly up and go right over the turret from there. Because otherwise you have to kind of tediously work the explosive down, and then you're supposed to get the explosive crate to lift up, be pushed over, and then dropped right down the turret. But that takes time.
And as a fun fact, actually, if you go through the door after going over the turret and you walk back through the door, you actually just die. I found that out today when I was just going to go back and like redo something, and I just died, and I thought it was funny.
So coming in this level, it's like Darkness is pretty much the setting up the conclusion of Act 2. This is Reboot, which was usually kind of the bane of ending out Act 2 because it could get really trolly with box we have to grab, but Matty actually recently found a setup that makes it very consistent to get this box.
It's also a lot faster than anything we've ever done before, which is kind of convenient.
Because normally what we do is we bring this platform down, put the box on top of it, then ride it up, and pray that it would actually land where we wanted it. But with the use of Newton, and also he turned the one side green, so it pushes the box as it's coming out, and then Newton grabs it and pulls it into that platform that's already red, and setting it up exactly where we need it to be, which then brings us to the point where we need to break that glass, since there's a turret there. With really good luck, you're able to either change the box color or grab it as it's falling, and you're able to just set it up for the launch right back up. You do have to wait for that top box to reach all the way up before the box itself is going to take flight. So it is a bit of a time loss if the turret itself falls on you or trolls you. Or
yeah,
the
turret exists on like part of the hitbox where the snap point of the cube is. So if the turret falls on it, it actually makes it impossible for you to snap the box until the turret dissipates. So that's one of the really few instances of RNG in this game. The other one sort of being Newton. We're not really sure if it's a global timer or if it's just random. And there's one other piece of RNG that comes up a little bit later. But if you're looking for an RNG, like a really light RNG game, then this is a good one. If you hate RNG, this is also a good game because you won't have to deal with it that much.
You're going to find a lot in these space levels. They actually really like to do slow walking. They're trying to get the exhibition out right now without making you actually wait for cutscenes. So there's a lot of just like slow walking happening.
That messed up. I think I put Newton in the wrong spot. I'll just fix it.
The jump he just went for is actually a fairly difficult jump to do before the guy stops talking because you're still in that slow walk mode. This time it's going to be quite a bit easier.
Yeah, that's easy this way.
Yeah, it's very precise because for the longest time, it's like when we picked it up, we pretty much expected that we would have to wait till we got full speed again. But I started messing around with the slow walk, and it is a precise jump to be able to actually make it all the way over. But it is possible. It just saves really like 5 to 8 seconds at best for it. But it's just kind of a cool time save when you're able to actually hit it from there.
So this level here is a pretty long level to do casually, and actually up until
I got it. Cool.
You got it. You got the one cycle.
I told you guys I was bad at aiming at things, and that thing's hard to aim at, so I'm proud that I can actually hit it once in a while.
So up until very recently, when we found the small box, the clips of the small boxes, we had to solve this level intentionally, which involved.
Yeah, this level's awful to do the normal way.
It's really bad.
It takes forever.
There's 3 circular rings that orbit around the entire level, and you basically have to platform through 3 different orbiting platforms.
Yeah, you can see them up here.
But instead, we just skip them all because those are hard and take a lot of time to set up.
Yeah, done intentionally and pretty much even done fast. We were looking at like 3 minutes, kind of like 3:20 best kind of
I think my goal, my best segment on this level before the new strat was found was like a 3:45.
Yeah, it was a really
by far. It's actually longer than the auto scroller level.
Yeah, it was really a pain. This was one of those levels we always kind of dreamed about breaking. And following Fusion, when we finally were able to get that more consistent and actually understand how the little boxes worked more, it was actually like in the middle of the morning, like 3, 4 a.m., Shiny, Maddie, and I were just messing around. And we actually came back to this level as a joke that we were going to break it. And then we did break.
I'd like quiet, please, so I could focus on this. Sorry, I don't want these to go flying off the level again. All right, we're good. You can keep talking.
All right. So we could get the 4 small boxes, but was pretty much, okay, what can we do with them? Once we really got the perfection of how to jump with them, we were like, all right, what if we stack all 4 on top and try launching off it?
And we get to the end of the level.
They have very
easy
strong
every time.
magnetism because they're being used to propel those like level-sized platforms we were talking about earlier.
So the reason the cubes were doing that is because they were actually all attracting themselves to each other, so they were just kind of throwing themselves everywhere. So it's actually really easy to knock those off the level, and you waste about 10 seconds getting the boxes back, depending on where you lose them.
Yeah, when I was practicing earlier today, I was moving them across the level, and they just like shimmied like to the side by like 5 feet, and I launched them off the level.
So he's not actually just choosing to stop the run right now. This is kind of the chase level in the game, and so because they want to give you some exhibition, they've got you frozen right now. And
look,
now
the gate's opening.
This lizard monster's going to chase us.
Yeah, he's not going to catch us though, because we're too fast.
It's a speed run the level, actually.
Yeah, even casually, this is really kind of a fun level because it's actually one you, for the most part, have to do somewhat quickly. There are a few points where you're not in danger for it, but especially speedrunning, it's just a natural element of this level to go quickly and fast from there. Once we make it up over that platform, the monster is pretty much out of the way, and we have time to set up this jump here. So Maddie's going to do a quick shot to hit the top and bottom parts of that cube to get it to open up.
Oh, I missed it. Oh, well. So we're going to see how bad the AI of this monster is. I'm just going to walk around him. He's going to do nothing.
So, God.
Oh, I was just going to say, normally if you're able to get the box jump, you're able to fly over, and even if you fall a little short and land on those rocks, the automatically
rocks
just bounce you right up and over.
They really try to bounce you to this side of the rocks. If
yeah,
you actually
if you hold forward, if you hold forward though, you never get stuck. Even if you bounce like really, really far back.
So that monster we just ran into, we're gonna see it again a little later in the game.
We're gonna see it. We're gonna see it really soon, actually.
We're gonna see it a couple times.
Yeah, the AI of the monster in both cases is pretty weak.
Oh, the last one's fine.
But there is going to be a version of that monster which is pretty much the god of death for it if you even get close.
There's actually one back here too. You don't really see it though in this run. There's one up here too. He's gonna jump down and chase me, but he's not gonna catch me either.
They do set you up with a launcher and explosive crate so you can actually kill it.
It doesn't die in one hit.
We don't need to even bother with that. We just run through this section where he's just magnetizing the pads at the bottom.
I want to shoot that.
To get those explosive crates out of the way.
Normally you're supposed to go over to this platform and go up, but this launcher is actually so powerful that I could just jump all the way to the end.
It was created far more equal than any other.
So we're going to come into another level that was broken actually quite recently. This is actually a really funny level because when I tried to break it, I did something really convoluted and stupid, and it was slower than what I normally did, like just doing the level the normal way. And then someone was like, hey, you should try this. And I tried it, and it was really fast.
Yeah,
so I'm going to do it now.
So yeah, Shiny Face watched kind of the concept video that Matty put together because we were trying to figure out how to break this level, and it's like he launched himself up onto a pillar and then did a very convoluted box jump. Instead, it was like, what if we just do the launcher and launch up to here?
That would have been cool.
Better than Loser Pit.
Yes. So if it's possible to go inside that ring of pillars, there's actually no way out of it.
Yeah, if you fall in there, you must restart checkpoint.
Okay, cool, we made it.
All right, that was a pretty good jump.
It's possible to like land right next to this platform, but it's like stupidly precise. And like if you get it, it's whatever. But
yeah, there's a decent enough window to make a jump that's actually going to be able to get you up to at least a pillar where you can then jump around from there to get to the end.
yeah, that was one of the few times I've actually jumped off the box and not made it to the top.
Boost jump?
Nope.
Oh.
There's a piece of geometry there that gives you a really huge speed boost, and it's possible to just get all the way to the end.
It's really tight, and we don't fully understand how it works yet. So.
So this level, Mygo Gateway, it's actually one, I found a break to it from there.
Yeah, that was the slow strat, but it's 100% safe, and in no way can you fail it. I did that.
You churched it!
I've been trying to do that for a week, and I never did it.
So what Matty
There's
just
a checkpoint here, though, so it's fine.
what Matty just did there is
I jumped too late. I usually hit the wall there.
the trigger for the end of the level is actually
It's on the floor.
and
I didn't touch the floor.
he jumped over it. So
I was too precise.
So normally you were supposed to get a box in that level, then do a bunch of nonsense for it. And we had a box jump set up for it, but I found that if you get that platform moving fast enough, you could just jump from the platform immediately onto the cube from there. It is possible to do it without even going back to the wall. I just do a short swing for it. But if you want to be absolutely consistent, going to the wall builds up plenty of momentum, so it's an easy jump from there.
So I don't know about
So Squall, I've got a question for you. In just a second, as soon as I get up here.
Do I know how to make stairs?
Do you know how to solve this thing? Because I don't.
What do you mean? You didn't solve it on your first playthrough?
No, I did this on my first playthrough.
Yeah, same.
Well, I did something like this on my first playthrough, but I found this was faster.
Yeah, so I'm actually the only
So
one up
Cthulhu's face is really nice to us, and he just kind of lets us jump up here. If I can stop falling, that'd be great.
That was an okay statue.
Okay, there we go.
There are some statue climbs that are just amazing, where you pretty much just slide right up. And then there's other times where the statue just dunks you, and you have to go back to the checkpoint. Because
Hey, look,
you
I went
get
over the
wrecked.
portal because I felt like it.
so,
This probably isn't a world record pace run anyway, so I might as well mess around a little bit.
so the intended strat, which Squall's the only one who's been able to do, it actually brings you like way farther up than the face of Cthulhu, and then you're supposed to drop down anyway. But it's just easier to jump off Cthulhu's face.
I think you've got good
I'm
RNG.
fine, yeah.
Yeah, you got it. So there used to be a slightly longer skip to this one. We would go under the level, swing around on a platform, and then launch the box off of it to get to the exit, because there's a monster on here where if he gets...
He kills you within like a certain radius, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid, his range, and unlike the AI of the others, the moment you're on the ground, he is going to chase you. But we're able to just use that setup with Newton, especially to help direct the launch of that box, to just fly towards the exit, and then it's just a simple walk from there.
He's the other very small bit of RNG in this run. Occasionally, he will start out the level walking towards where you want to set up that jump, and then it's really tight if it's possible at all to make it.
It's basically impossible.
Yeah, at that point, it's pretty much...
Your two options are to do the other strat or to just reset the level.
So this
Resetting the level is faster if you don't get the bad RNG like a second time.
So this turret here, if you do it the fast way, which is opening the box and then just run right away, in theory it shouldn't be able to kill you unless you're Church, in which case it headshots you and you lose like 20 seconds.
Yeah, I'd never seen anybody get killed by it. He got killed by it in like 5 hits, and usually you can take like 8.
Now
Speaking of Church was the guy I was racing when I got my world record.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're welcome.
That was the last run I did before I came to SGDQ.
So really this level, it's one of those again where it's like it's very simplified. We just do a few clip zips off the boxes, and we're able to work our ways up to the top from there. Normally there's a lot of like messing around with other boxes and other stuff that we're able to skip right on over for it.
This is a cool little trick too. You can pick up that box while you're moving across on the side of the cube.
The level.
I already pressed F, it's fine.
So if you don't have F on, and what F does is shows the magnetic fields for it, and if you reach that spot, it just pops up to press F because it's supposed to hint you that to actually finish this level, you're supposed to take the box, put it in that circle, and launch up. So we jokingly say it's press F to win.
Okay, so we're coming up on the last level here. It's going to be about a minute or so. And
So there's this epic boss fight against Xander that the developers planned.
we don't need to do that.
Yeah, there are a lot of asteroids flying around trying to destroy these towers that are like linking up all the Lovecraftian creatures to Earth. But if you're good at aiming, you never go over there, you never meet Xander, and you win the game.
Yeah, so basically, the 6 pillars over here, they have shields around them, but the shields don't extend to the tip. And you'll see me aiming at the small, skinny tips of these things if I can line anything up.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's one where if you try and take a shot while one's exploding, it can.
Yeah, the
just
screen shake actually
make
messes
waves.
with your aim instead of that. But what I do is I aim close to them and then I just adjust side to side.
All right, and we're coming
So I've
up
got
on
the last one colored.
Get
Time
ready
is
on
going to
time.
be in a few seconds as soon as the screen blips after white. And
time.
4901.
Nice.
Dang.
Nice.
That was
Really good.
30 seconds off my real-time PB.
Congrats, Matty.
What a beast.
I'm actually really impressed with that. I did not expect to get under 50 minutes real-time in this run. But anyway, that was Magrunner Dark Pulse in a lot faster than I thought I was going to do it.
One more time for Matty Ice, everybody. Thank you very much. Very impressive run. You're watching SGDQ.